beautiful souls, so many beautiful people coming forward and offering their divine gifts on this special day today, which is MOMM Day, which is Mother's Day in most of the world, which is the expression of the beauty that the mother holds, the mother in all of us, masculine or feminine, of care and compassion and love. And having this time right here, right now, where we're spending time being present, being mindful, and then filling ourself with the beauty that's being gifted to us all, and then the child in all of us, the inner child, is free to play, is free to laugh, is free to expand in joy and love and harmony. So I'm very mindful of the original MOMM vision, and if I could just again share this with you, which was and is co-creating compassionate communities, and then within that the integration of holistic well-being healing hubs. And I'd love to read you a few words that really touched my heart by John O'Donoghue from a book called Eternal Echoes. And what John says in this particular quote is, our world is facing so many crises, ecologically, economically, and spiritually. These cannot be overcome by isolated individuals. We need to come together. There is an incredible power in a community of people who are together because they care and who are motivated by the ideals of compassion and creativity. And this is very much at the heart of MOMM. I believe it's very much at the heart of the monastery. And again, I'd love to welcome you to meet Elaine Griffiths, CEO of the monastery, and Gill Harbach, Gnostic, researcher at the monastery, who's going to talk a little more before we move into a break of the treasures of this sacred site where light and life and love is amplified. Gorton Monastery is a place of love, and this will ooze through in this conversation, and then after the break with Dr. Jude Currivan, where they share even more about the monastery. So I'm just going to move out of the way whilst Gill and Elaine share more about Gorton Monastery in Manchester, England.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you. Okay, well, where do we begin, really? Are you sitting comfortably? I thought perhaps it'd be good to start with my story and a few little synchronicities. Because when I first came here, this place, as someone mentioned, Alison mentioned earlier, it was a complete wreck. My husband's family had been part of this church when it was a Franciscan Catholic church, and it had been one of those things that was on the radar. Somebody should do something about the Gorton Monastery. Why isn't somebody saving it? And I had no idea at the time when I walked through these doors how it was going to completely change my life. And it's funny that this is all about Mom and Mother's Day today, because we've joked many times that this is almost like our fourth child. You know, it's been such a trauma, bringing up this child, and it has needed all the love and nurture and support and all of the things that Claire was talking about and earlier on about nurturing children. We actually said the pure potentiality of this place is what we have to try and unlock here. We didn't realise when we took it on that we would still be here in year 25. We didn't realise it was going to change everything. And it's funny because my youngest child, who was very nearly born here, because the very first open day we had here was when I was like nearly, 9 months pregnant and counting. And she was very, very nearly born here. And it has had the nickname ever since as being Mummy's Monastery in terms of her. So it is really funny. And earlier on, when Dan was reading the poem about his great-grandfather, that actually was from 1862, which was exactly the time when the Franciscan brothers first came here. And they anchored their vision to create this place as a Franciscan church and friary, which was here to serve the community, not only of Manchester, but the community of Manchester, and bring those Franciscan values forward to the world. Now, of course, this is deconsecrated now, this amazing place. When the Franciscans left, they literally turned it off in terms of it being able to be used as a place of worship. But, you know, you can't turn it off. It's in the fabric of the place. It's in every brick and every stone, and the whole atmosphere, that whole, the fact that 130, 140 years of prayer and meditation and peace and love has been held in this place. And we've inherited that legacy. So almost like the seventh generation, I think we are also inheriting the brothers. They have almost been like the ancient grandfathers that seeded the vision here. And of course that was quite narrow because it was within the confines of the Catholic faith. You would only come here if you were here to attend Mass or if you were part of that particular religious tradition. And what's been gifted to us now is something that doesn't belong to any particular faith or tradition. It belongs to each and every one of us. And we knew when we took this on that it had to be something far more than it had ever been before, otherwise we wouldn't succeed. And we almost had to make our commitment and dedicate ourselves to whatever it wanted to become. Now, the early vision we called Spirit of Life, and we somehow ended up being gifted lots and lots of visions and words and a business plan that seemed quite incredible. And it was to create a centre for the celebration of humanity. Now, we couldn't get the for that. It was clearly something that people didn't want to pay for or fund. And so we went on a very long journey for probably another 4 years in order to get the heritage funding and restore it and get the grants. And almost £12 million later, we're here. And guess what? That Centre for the Celebration of Humanity, it kind of feels right now. You know, we've all grown and we've all learned, and the building's grown with us, and the energy here has become more beautiful. And I think its time has come. And I think that's what we're suddenly realizing. And as Alison was talking, and the wonderful ladies from Findhorn, about the traumas that we've all collectively shared in the last 12 months, well, it's been exactly the same here for the monastery. When the doors closed last March, all of our commercial income from events and conferences and weddings, all of that disappeared. All the staff were put on furlough. And then we realised actually there was no point in keeping people on furlough because it was never going to be the same again. So the majority of our staff have been made redundant, and we just rely on a very, very tiny team of 4 people now. And the rest will be volunteer support. But it's like we've cleared the decks, and we are now being gifted back this beautiful sacred space so we can rebuild again. And that just also brought some more thoughts back to me, that one of the things we had in that original vision was, wouldn't it be wonderful if this could become the Findhorn of Manchester? You know, if this could actually be a place that was as loved and respected and could bring so much to the community that Findhorn has brought. So you never know. We obviously don't have any accommodation here, and we're in a very urban setting, but we are just a couple of miles from the city centre of Manchester, so we're very accessible. So who knows what we can create here now. But the vision really has never changed from the core spiritual team that have been on this long, long journey. And it's funny because there were kind of 3 strap lines that we created in those very early days. And the first one was inspiring the future. So whatever we were going to try and do here in this place, we wanted to make sure it would be inspirational and it would be relevant for future generations, for the children of tomorrow to be able to come here and be inspired, and for it to have some meaning locally. So we talked about education and skills and how we would allow it to inspire. But there's no point in doing that if we weren't carrying forward those Franciscan values and the fact that they cared and nurtured for this entire community here for so many years. And the vision of St. Francis and St. Clare was to bring together that beautiful union of divine feminine and masculine in order to create the birth of the new system of love and trust and integrity. And we have to respect that legacy, and what a beautiful legacy to be doing things in honor of St. Francis. What a beautiful saint. No wonder he is so well known and loved and popular throughout all faiths and traditions. And then the final kind of part to our strapline, which kind of arrived a little bit after, was realizing potential. And that wasn't actually about the building. It was actually about everybody that came through the door. Of course, we want this building to be sustainable, and we want it to reach and reach as many people as possible and be used in the most appropriate way. But what we really want to try and create here is a place that when people come through the door, they feel part of this monastery family, they feel loved, they feel nurtured, and they can benefit from the unique energies that are here. Yes, that divine, loving embrace is in this building. And that's what we really want to try and create when the doors open again. And I don't know if this is really an announcement. I know Sue and I have talked about it before, but what we have decided to do is offer the monastery to Sue and the whole MOMM team for this to be the permanent home of MOMM. So that on a monthly basis, we can actually host regular moms here, and hopefully in a physical sense, it can be anchored here, and many, many people from across the world can come and enjoy this space. So going forward, when we are allowed to reopen, and we're hoping the monastery can open its doors to the public from the 5th of July this year, we hope we'll be ready then. We are going to every single day, well, I say every single day, apart from Fridays and Saturdays, because we're hoping that we can still earn money from commercial events like weddings, sacred ceremony, and be sustainable on a Friday and Saturday. But every day, apart from Friday and Saturday, we are going to hold an hour of silence in the monastery for everybody to come here and just be part of that 1 hour of silence and peace every single day. So wherever you are across the world, if you want to connect with us, please do that. You'd be very, very welcome, and we would enjoy that amplification of love and community. That would be wonderful. So thank you. So for the future, yes, our modern day monastery is going to be reborn in a very, very different way. Our sacred purpose, our spiritual vision is being born. And I think we all feel that today is really significant, that this is actually the birthing of something very, very special. What are we birthing? What are we co-creating? I think will be shown, because if it's anything like the rest of the synchronicities that happen in here, it will just be shown to us and will unfold. And one of the things that I do need to share is that we thought that we would be really, really struggling when the doors closed. But actually it was almost as though the monastery wanted to rest. It needed time for its own silence. And we've been granted sort of cultural recovery funding and some emergency heritage grants that amazingly have helped just pay the bills and keep us going. So we're very, very grateful for that support that we've had. And it is allowing us now to allow the monastery to come into its own. So that's where we are. Yes, the future is very much about sharing what we have. And I know we're going to talk with Jude afterwards about all of the amazing things that we have here. We've touched briefly on the energy of the place and the fact that it is connected globally with ley lines, and also it is aligned so beautifully with the solstices, and it's almost like it acts like an observatory. So our amazing little monastery in Manchester can behave as a temple of light. And we want to make sure that we all ensure that it is providing a service to humanity, and hope we can raise the consciousness of all those who enter here. It can be a place of awakening, a place of love, and hopefully we can be in service to Gaia as well, our beloved Mother Earth, as we bring heaven to earth. So yeah, that's really all I've got to say. I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Gill?
Yeah, I think I'd just like to say how Francis fits into this. So St. Francis, obviously most people know of as the saint, and as was alluded to earlier, many other faiths, not just Christianity, St. Francis is one of those saints that's gone through all the other faiths as well, very well respected. And he always said right from the beginning there would have been no church. And he said church because it was just, at that time, it was the brothers and the sisters together. He called that the church. There would be no church without Clare. And so the whole ethos behind the Franciscan movement was, let's see, we have some background music happening here as well, was that Clare and Francis brought forward the Franciscan values. So that very much is what we're bringing forward now as well in 2021, that it's the blending of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And also Francis perceived God in everything. That's why I think he is so universal, because most people can understand that in some way. He transcends the church. To him, there wasn't really a church, it was just God. Everyone is God and perceives God in themselves. So that's why he was a brother and Clare was a sister. And he perceived the world as an expression of God. So when he saw a blade of grass, when he saw bricks being made, when he saw a smile on a person's face, all of that was an expression of God. So the values of the Franciscans, it goes way beyond just the values that you'll hear of throughout the church. It's about God is within you. And you can't see it by looking around, looking through at the moment, but what we have around the monastery are some statues of saints as well. And each one of those saints is there to represent a mystic. So they were mystics, a lot of Franciscans. And so the mystic wrote and experienced their own expression of God. So it's been held all the way through, and right through to this day. And at some point or another, science tried to come in and take that over, and that it becomes science and intuition, and the feeling of God within yourself is not appropriate. But the Franciscans have held that to this day. And this monastery is an expression of that. So when people come into this building, that is inlaid within this building. There is God in the bricks and the stone and the mortar of this building. And that was expressed as well through what the ancients believed in, which was sacred geometry, which is mathematics, comes from God as well. So the mathematics of how this monastery was built are very specific, so that the energy in this building, as well as being on the ley lines, resonates in harmony. So when you come into this building, immediately you notice that. There's a sort of oh, but you don't actually know what that is. But it's because there's a resonance in this building of harmony. So whatever else happens in this building, whatever else we offer, just by walking in the front door, you experience harmony. And throughout the shutdown, and the building's been allowed to breathe, that even more so now has been accelerated. So when you join in with us, maybe in the silences from around the world, or if you just want to tune in with us at any time, that's one thing at least you know that you will feel, because the harmony is in this building. It is resonating out. And I think that's probably all I want to say at this point.
Thank you, Gill. Before we go into the break, I'd just like to read you something. You know how you have loads of bits of paper lying around and then suddenly they come to you think, why am I having to pick up this again? Well, this piece of paper I found on my desk this morning, and I hadn't looked at it for a while. It was a message that was channeled actually by Gill, probably 7 or 8 years ago, 2012, I don't know.
Ahead of its time anyway.
Before we go into the break, I'd just like to read you this. The monastery, the way forward. All will come to pass. You are living in troubled times. All life is moving fast. Many energies are working to hamper the progress of the few. You are a strong band of brothers and sisters, and your ministries are doing much to enhance the stability and the way forward. The strength is in your connectedness and your choice to work for humanity. Step forward together, strong in your purpose and with love and kindness in your hearts. The purpose of the monastery is to guard the ancient wisdom and yet also make it available to the masses. As a group, you are able to hold the energy and amplify it to where it is needed. You need resilience and determination to do this. Your task will become ever more important as this year progresses. Energies are building, and your clarity and strength will do much to counteract the onslaught of deception which is being brought into form continually. Hold true and fast in your love and dedication. Connect regularly to keep your chain of strength intact. You must be vocal in your honesty and affiliation to each other. Join arms, my band of brothers and sisters, and complete this circle of strength, love, wisdom, and honesty, which is called the monastery. All will come to pass. Let your hearts be brave and true. Peace be with you. So if that doesn't sum up MOMM, I don't know what does. So thank you.
That was inspiring, synchronistic that you read those words, and a huge amount of gratitude from me, MOMM, the people who are present here today, not only in the monastery, but out in the world, for you lovingly restoring this beautiful place. And whilst we're in the present moment, being mindful, we know already that this weekend, in 12 months' time, we will be here again in the physical for a MOMM. And it might be the time that you, during this year and next, come and visit and bring your energy to this place as well, knowing that everyone belongs, everybody counts. And yeah, sometimes lost for words, not often, but it feels...
Time for a cup of tea.
Time for a cup of tea. So